Hi there, Maureen here for Detail Church. We are continuing today in our reading music series. Today is lesson 5, and we're talking about other symbols that you see when you're reading music. We've covered a lot of ground in the first 4 lessons where we've talked about rhythms, we've talked about pitches, we've talked about how our music is organized. But today we're going to talk about what makes music truly music. It's all the extra little things that you're going to add. And today we're going to introduce the ones you're going to see most often if you go ahead and start looking at some music. So let's get started. First up are our sharps and our flats. You have seen these before when we talked about our key signatures, but a flat looks like a lowercase b that's pointed at the bottom, and it simply means that we're going to lower the pitch of that note by a half step. So if you are looking at a piano, it's like going from a white key down to the left to the first available black key. On the opposite side of the screen is the sharp. That means we're going to raise the pitch a half step. So again, if you're looking at the piano, you're going to go up and to the right to the first available black key. If you are very familiar with what a piano looks like, you do know there are a couple places where there is no black key between your white keys. That changes everything, and that's a different story for a very different day. But this symbol is equally as important as the sharp or flat. Now, the natural sign will not appear in a key signature like we see our sharps and flats, but the natural sign will definitely appear throughout a piece of music. And it simply means that we are going to not play that note as a sharp or a flat. So if you have a key signature with sharps and flats and we see one of these, we just remember simply for the measure that it is gone. So maybe you have the key of G with F sharps, and this is sitting on an F. So for that measure, our Fs would just be Fs, not F sharps. Sometimes you'll see it with accidentals. Maybe you'll have an F sharp, then an F natural, and then you'll go to like an E. So again, these will last just for a measure, but this sign simply cancels the effect of a sharp or a flat. So you've also seen this symbol before, this curved line we've seen on the slide about ties. A tie connects two of the exact same pitches, and we simply add the value of those two notes together. This is a slur. Yes, the symbol is exactly the same, but these notes are different pitches. So you can see here we have a note below our staff and we are slurred up to the second space. So this is a D slurred to an A. And what that means is we are going to play these notes smooth and connected with no space in between. So just like when someone's had one too many drinks and they start slurring their words and they're hard to understand, we don't want to play our notes so that they're hard to hear, but we want to play them connected, just like a person with too many drinks starts to put their words much closer together. The opposite of a slur would be a staccato. A staccato appears above or below a note head. It appears below all of these. And it means we're going to play these notes short and detached. We want space in between these notes. So we don't want to change the speed at which we play them. We don't want to change anything else about it. We're not changing rhythm. We're just changing how much of that beat that note actually lasts. So we're going to play it like, if you're playing on your piano, I always tell my students to play that note like it's hot. Like you touch it and you want to immediately let go of it. But you still need to make sure that you're counting the full beat in your head. Staccatos are fun. I like playing staccato. All of my ensembles know that I like to complain about dynamics. One of the easiest things to forget about while you're playing is the dynamics, because sometimes you'll be playing a very hard section and you find out, oh, I need to pound these notes out, but no, I'm not allowed to. It was marked piano. Or it's something that's super exciting, but the writer decided that you should play it very quietly. So there's several moments where you really don't like the person who decided the dynamics, but they're there for a reason. So way off to the left, you see a P all by itself. And that P is the Italian word for piano, which means soft. On the opposite side of the screen, you see a big F. That F in Italian is forte, and it means loud. In between, we find the other dynamic symbols. You see the M that happens before each of those. In Italian, that is for mezzo, and that means medium. So the first sound, piano, is soft. Mezzo piano would be medium soft. The next sound is mezzo forte, which is medium loud. And the very last one is just forte, and that's loud. So gradually on the screen, we're going from soft to loud. So it's kind of like turning up your volume dial on your car radio, maybe. So you might put your piano at a 1 and your mezzo piano at maybe a 4, your mezzo forte at a 7, and maybe your forte at a 10. Now, if you want to just gradually turn up your volume, you would use the crescendo and the decrescendo. So the first symbol starts closed and goes to open. That's the crescendo. We're going to start soft and gradually get louder. The second symbol there is the decrescendo. You'll see that it starts open, so we would start loud and we would gradually get softer. I find that these are actually the hardest ones to do well, simply because sometimes you don't have enough time to do it the way you would like to do it, or it's in the middle of something really hard to play, so you're so focused on getting the right notes and the right pitches and the right rhythms that sometimes these particular ones are the hardest. So easy to describe, hard to execute. All right, the last symbol is my favorite symbol. You will typically find this at the end of a song, but sometimes it appears in the middle just for a grandioso moment. If you were ever in band or you know somebody in band, you might hear them call this a bird's eye because it kind of looks like a bird's eye, I guess. I always describe it as a rainbow with a dot in between. But this is called a fermata, and it simply means that you're going to hold that note. So yes, it might be a quarter note, but you could hold it for 4 counts. If you're playing solo, you can hold it for as long as you like. If you are playing within a group, you're going to hold it until your director decides it's time to move on. There is an unwritten rule that you add half of the value of it, but that is totally an unwritten rule, and you just hold it for as long as you feel is appropriate, and then you move on. Well, those are our extra symbols. Now, again, these are probably the most common ones you're going to run across in music, but you'll probably see some others. If you have any questions about other symbols and something that you're looking at, feel free to let me know. You can describe it, you can take a screenshot, you can tell me where to find it on the internet. I'm more than happy to look it up and answer that for you. Just send me an email, and I'm more than happy to help you out. Well, I thank you for joining me today for Lesson 5, and I hope you join me shortly for Lesson 6. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.